Hello and welcome to Primetime Football, when I will give you 3-word storyline for every single primetime matchup that is going to come in this season. And today we are going to take a look at Sunday Night Football, Giants versus Chiefs. My 3-word storyline is to the moon. And what I'm talking about? Well, on the side of Giants is Russell Wilson and his freaking moonballs. I mean, they are a pleasure to watch. And now when he has Malik Neighbors, he might be his best target ever. Malik Neighbors, what a player. Second-year guy, and already, I would have him as my top 10 wide receiver. This guy is awesome. On the other side, Kansas City Chiefs, to the moon. I'm talking about all the haters of the Chiefs. It's so pleasurable to watch the Chiefs struggle. For them, I am not a Kansas Chief hater. I don't say I love them, but I'm not a hater. But for all the haters, it's pleasure to watch this championship team struggle. And they struggle heavily. 0-2 to start. And, a couple of weeks ago, nobody would say that this has a potential to be a close one. Right now, I think that a lot of people could believe that Chiefs could start 3-0. So with 3-word aside, let's take a look at the key matchups for this game that will, in my eyes, ultimately decide what this game is gonna look like. So we will start with Malik Neighbors versus Trent McDuffie. Trent is primarily a slot guy, but with some of the struggles that they have on the outside, Christian Fulton injury, he's playing much more of a wide cornerback option. And that's probably what his job is going to be this time, because he needs to shadow Malik Neighbors. I don't think they have any other corner that could deal with this guy. So Trent McDuffie versus Malik Neighbors is going to be matchup for, definitely one to watch, because Trent, to me, in terms of slots, he is probably the best. In terms of outside options, that's where I will question his elite status, because they tend to play him there much more often than perhaps he should be, because they are struggling to find outside corners, and he struggles there as well. So to me, as an outside corner, he's somewhere between important and amazing starter, but as a slot, he's absolutely an elite guy. Malik Neighbors, this is his stats from last year, with Daniel Jones, Tommy DeVito, and Drew Lock as his quarterbacks. Still pretty damn awesome. Now, he started this year on much higher trajectory with Russell Wilson, and when we will do some of the reviews, probably like week 6, week 7, I might push him towards the elite status, because he's absolutely playing like an alpha wide receiver, absolute stud. And, if he can cook Trent McDuffie in this matchup, A, Giants have big chance to win this one. But B, I would say that there is really not much more to ask from him to accept him towards the elite status. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows for the Giants. Well, they are 0-2, so it cannot be. And the biggest problem to me is, Shane Bowen, because that defense should be playing at much higher level than they are. And I kind of do blame their defensive coordinator. But the second biggest problem is their offensive line. They have been missing Andrew Thomas, who has a chance to come back, which would be massive. He would be an ultimate upgrade for this online. But as far as matchup versus Chris Jones, I know this guy can line up as an edge, as a D tackle, but predominantly he's a defensive tackle. And in this one, I don't see him getting too many snaps outside, especially if, as an edge, especially if Andrew Thomas is back, because Giants would not have that many problems in terms of their tackles. But in terms of their interior, none of these guys is playing good, whether it's Greg Van Roten, John Runyan, or John Michael Schmitz. We hoped that this could be the year that he takes a huge leap. He has been touted as a really good center prospect, taken in the second round. His first year, he struggled. Second year, it improved, but we hoped this is going to be the big year for John Michael Schmitz. But so far, it has been nothing like that. And as of right now, I'm not even sure that he deserves to be a decent starter in my book, so he needs to pick it up. And for Russell Wilson, who is a small quarterback, pressure from the interior is lethal. So Chris Jones, I think he's going to try to terrorize whether it's John Michael Schmitz, Greg Van Roten, or John Runyan. On the other side, Chris Jones, he's kind of one-man wrecking crew. Without him, this pass rush would be pretty much the worst in the league. He is making them serviceable, I would say. But still, you cannot just ask one man to lift the unit, especially in terms of D-line, because there is a way how to deal with that, where it's double or even triple teaming this guy. So, in this one, I do think whoever is going to get assigned to Chris Jones is going to help with a double team, and the rest of the guys, show us that you can beat us. And I'm not sure that they can, but this is kind of a matchup of bet on bet. So we will see, and it's going to be the one that's going to determine how much time Russell Wilson has in the pocket to launch his moonballs. Now, we will take a look at the other side of the ball, where, I think another key and important matchup is going to be happening in terms of defensive line. So Dexter Lawrence versus Creed Humphrey, I could have talked about that one, but I feel like a lot of people would. So me, I'm actually looking at this like what is most likely going to determine. I think Dexter versus Creed is going to somehow neutralize itself, like Trey Smith's going to help. But then you have Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Brian Burns on these tackles. And I choose Kayvon Thibodeau against Jawan Taylor because I think he's going to get his one-on-one matches. And Jawan Taylor, he is big and strong, but Kayvon Thibodeau with his quickness, I think could be very, very nice answer for Jawan Taylor. And, this is going to be very, very interesting to see how many times he could actually pressure Jawan Taylor to making that step first and throwing the false start. And it's also going to be a lot to look at the refs, how many times they are going to blow the whistle, because Jawan Taylor and his full starts, they are happening pretty much every other snap. And it's the question mark how many times it's going to get called. So look for this matchup where Kayvon Thibodeau and his bend and speed over the edge could be the one thing that Jawan Taylor just cannot handle, and the one thing that you just cannot necessarily have Jawan Taylor, because you have Brian Burns, you have Abdul Carter, and you have Dexter Lawrence. So Kayvon Thibodeau should absolutely get one-on-one, and his matchup against Jawan Taylor could be one that gives Chiefs the fits. So in terms of matchup of the quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes, it's interesting how a lot of people talk about him, because I've heard several analysts say that he's been playing the best ball that he's played in last 3-4 years. And you can see, perhaps that's the case, because he's literally carrying this team on his shoulders. He has more rushing yards than Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco combined. He needs to scramble because the protection is not working. He doesn't have Rashee Rice, he doesn't have Xavier Worthy. When he finds his trustable target in Travis Kelce, ball pops up to his hand for an interception. So he's doing a lot of heavy lifting. But on the other side, he's been very, very imprecise. A lot of his throws have been sailing over the guys. He has the most failed incompletions in the league, where the stat is how many times, if the incompletion is going to happen, is it on the QB or a wide receiver? And those situations when how many incompletions are actually on Patrick Mahomes because he just straight up missed the throw, he leads the league in that, which is very, very worrying. I mean, you can say, well, because you don't have platform, because you have to scramble all the time, there is no calmness for him in that area. Perhaps there is no great connection, him expecting perhaps a guy to have a step more. Depends. But it's interesting to see the discourse on Patrick Mahomes, some calling this the best football he's been playing in 2 or 3 years, and some be oh my god, he's so not hitting what we used from him to hit. On the other side, Russell Wilson, after week 1, people were calling for benching him. Week 2 comes and he plays his second best game in terms of yards he ever played. So, whether it was screw it, I don't care. If they are benching me, let's go and ride this horse. Or whether it's well, let's unleash him. Brian Dable, realizing that the best thing that Russell Wilson does is the moon ball. So let's go. We have Mike Neighbors. I mean, that was always the plan. And there could be a very interesting piece that could help him do this, and that's Cam Scatterbo, because this dude's starting to look like the feature back for this team. And whenever you have to respect the run game, you cannot necessarily unleash the pass rush. And it's not like Chiefs have too much to unleash. As of right now, the spread for this game is around 6 or 5.5 points. And I don't know, man. I'm going to be excited about this one. I wish it to the Giants because I am a huge fan of Russell Wilson. But at the same time, do I believe that pissed off Patrick Mahomes is going to let Chiefs sink to 0-3? Probably not. So, my brain is telling me that Chiefs are going to win. My heart is telling me, well, let's go Russell Wilson. Let's freaking go. Now, for the last piece, Shane Bowen and this defense, you need to have better performance. And like, we talked about Brandable on the hot seat, but to me, like, if this is yet another performance by this defense that has shit ton of talent, I call them the defense that could warrant the nickname, and I still believe that if Brandable gets fired, and for example for next deal they hire Brian Flores as their defensive coordinator, aka and head coach at the same time, I think they could be absolutely cooking. But as of right now, they are not playing like one. And, you can call players not playing up to their standards. I think it's much more of a scheme and not utilizing especially the D-line to the best of their abilities. That was a primetime football. Let me know down in the comments how much you enjoyed it. We will be coming back soon with Monday Night Football and with preview for every single Sunday game from the whole circa. You can also watch me on the Twitter, on TikTok, and YouTube Shorts, where I give you just a 3-word preview to sum it up in 3 words so you can get a very short version of what I'm talking about here. Thank you very much for watching, listening, subscribe, like, and see you with the next one. Bye guys.